Well, yeah, it's a thing that I personally will encourage you to have the best. It is my desire. So it won't speak well when I'm having below expectation in all your results. So I want to encourage you not only in this course and other courses, okay? Put in your best to do the best. So today, last time we talked about study session one, study session 1 on AED 40201. And I believe we were able to discuss extensively on that study session because I remembered that we shared it into two parts. It was two classes that we had during the course of the study session because of the volume of the lecture. So I ensure that you don't have much distraction and it does not wear you off or make you so saturated so that you now have the course to abandon during the course of reading or study. So I want you to go back to your LMS. If you have not registered, do that before time. Do it is very, very important and take charge. All right. Sorry. Take charge and do the needful. So last time we talked about the history of agricultural extension in Nigeria. And we discussed about the two parts of it, which is the pre-colonial and the colonial. And also we talked about the problem of agricultural extension in Nigeria and why those programs that has taken off and it has run its course and it's over, why they were not sustainable. So I want you to go back to your material and read more. So today, everyone be attentive. We'll be taking study session 2 and I will share the screen with you. So I was unable to make it into PowerPoint mode because I had issue with my network during the course of starting this lecture. That's why I was unable to start at the right time. So take it like that and let's move on. So let me share the screen with you. Okay. So at the end of this class, I want you to be open to questions, open to questions, and make sure you participate. All right. I don't need your attendance now. That will be taken later, and you don't even need to bother yourself about typing or that you are here, your matric number. I think the information should have been given to you that you write your name, your matric number, so that when I want to capture it, it will be easily captured. Okay. All right. Then if you want to make noise, just make sure you are muted. I don't want to hear any noise from you. And if you have any question and you see that I'm not responding to you while raising up your hands, you can actually type it via the chat box, okay? And I'll give you the answer when I see it as delivered message. So today we'll be taking up study session 2, which is philosophy, objectives, and principles, okay, of agricultural extension. So during the course of this course, you are expected to understand some major things which are the outcomes of this study session. The first one is that you must be able to discuss what philosophy of extension is. Okay, each career has its philosophy. So we are now going to base our own on extension, all right? Then another thing is that you must be able to describe the objectives of agricultural extension. All these things they have been compressed. They are very, extension is a talking matter. So you can talk from morning to night when it comes to extension because you have to discuss extensively for the farmers and for those who are the end users to understand. If they don't understand, you come again, you explain, you describe, you give as a aids, you teach. Okay. Then at the end of this also, you must be able to state the principles of agricultural extension. Okay. Now let's move on to the first thing, which is the philosophy of extension. All right. Philosophy of extension. What is philosophy itself? Philosophy is the body of principles governing human activity or operation. So when you hear that somebody is behaving in a particular way, that means that thing has been instilled into that person, and that's the best it could be. So it has become a part character, and it has been a kind of a rule that is following. So when you talk about philosophy in extension now that means there are principles that are governing how we people how we behave, how an extension worker behaves, how they react to issues when it comes to farmers and their family, and how they discharge their operations. Okay, now philosophy of extension is essential in when you want to understand the idea in which individual extension workers hold about rural people and their rural environment. What do I mean? Now, as an extension, okay, I'm having someone, what I say, please, I haven't done my quiz yet, and I'm trying it, don't worry. That will be done later. Just remind me later or private chat me. So now, extension, as an extension worker, there are things you need to understand about farmers, about rural settings, about the way they behave, about their beliefs. Okay. So when you understand that, you'll be able to relate appropriately with them. Okay. You know, each rural settings, they have their norms, they have their rules, they have the guide in which they believe so much in. Okay. So if you're now saying you want to go there without understanding the fact that there are ways of life they do believe, there are ways of life they have been living all through the ages. So you just come in, you just want to do the things the way you believe, it may not work. So as an extension agent, you must be able to understand that there are things you need to understand about the farmers, about their family, about their community, right? So this lecture will provide you with some basic elements of extension philosophy as follows. So this will be based on Obibuaku in the year 1983. So we extensively discussed what he had given about the philosophy of extension. Okay, now the concept of extension is presented as an educational activity that should lead to change in behavior, not only behavior, also in skill and in character. So when you want to bring about the change, the philosophy of being an educated fellow or an educated extension agent to give information, right information to farmers, and understanding the way of life in which they live. All right. So, and all these things boils down to you bringing about a change in behavior, a change in character, and a change in the skill of the people, and also in knowledge. Now, let's move on. Extension programs should hinge on philosophy that rural people are intelligent. That is the fact. Don't see them as, oh, they are not educated. They may not know this. Oh, they are this. They may not understand how to do this. No, they may not be educated, but they are very intelligent. Okay? There are ways they have been doing their things and it's working. Now, you want to introduce a particular innovation to them. There are ways they will take it from you, but it is based on the way you give it to them. Okay, that is that when it will be acceptable. So you see them as intelligent set of people. They are capable of doing things the way they like. Okay, making information useful to them. Okay, and also making it much more effective. All right. So, however, it is essential that the perception that information is given is much more favorably directed towards the need and interest of the people. The need and interest of the people. All right. So the perception on value orientation of the rural people, characterizing them as traditional, risk aversive, fatality, and submissive to nature, and blah, blah, blah. Then also superficial and born out of no sufficient understanding of wisdom in these rural folks doing what they do. So you see them as a unique set of people that knows better and knows what they are doing. All right. Even you, if you can train the ground gently, giving innovations to them, you will also gain from their wealth of experiences. All right. So the misconception had been a setback on the effective extension work. So currently, extension work operates with philosophy such that much as the rural people have a lot to learn, modern science and technology, extension personnel also have much to benefit from indigenous knowledge. I think I've said that earlier. So you personally will actually gain, even if you can make things so light and easy, okay, submissive in a way that will help you to give them the necessary information about technology and also having influence from their wealth of experiences they had in their indigenous way of life. All right. So extension philosophy is based on the premises that if farm people understand their relationship to the natural resources and their factors they deal with, it is possible for them to attain personal satisfaction in their own way of life. Okay? So the way of this makes this concept of felt needs and unfelt needs quite important. What do I mean? Now, when you're talking about the felt needs are the pressing need that is needed at a particular point in time and which requires or required to be met. While unfelt needs are something that they don't actually need. They don't even have a zeal to have it at that particular point in time. Okay, so when all the felt needs are met at that particular point in time, we will see a great development and a better understanding of how life will be meaningful for both extension agent and also the farmers. Now, let's move on to philosophy of extension per se. Now, this is referred to the criteria guiding practice of extension service delivery. So therefore, the following to be considered to be part of the philosophy. Now, let's look at the first one, which is extension practices focus on the learners with a view to solve their problem and empower them to be able to meet their needs. Now, look at it. One, you view that you want to solve their problem and also meet the needs of the people. So when these things are balanced, you will see that the focus will not be divided. It will be focused and it will be rightly taken by every individual that is involved in this play. Now, extension practices create a learning environment that is valued by the learners, okay? Environment that is valued by the learner with tangible results or results, it should be focused on having orientation about results. So when you are given a particular innovation, your focus must be on having results. Okay? The result is very, very paramount because if you're hello, who is that? All right. So if you're working without a result, I think is effortless. So why should I start it? So there's no necessity for such. So you work with the aim of having a positive result, okay? Not even a negative, because when you are bringing innovation, your idea is for them to take it and use it, okay? Acceptability, which is very important. Now, also look at the third point, which is extension practices emphasize learner involvement in educational program. Now, this is meant that if a training is to be done, you don't do it on your own or by yourself. You make sure you get people involved. You get the farmers involved. You enlighten the local leaders. You enlighten the ex in such settings so that they themselves will be the information carrier to take the information to other farmers who are in that community, who do not have easy access to you or as an extension agent, okay? So you are the one that will take the information and they are the one that will receive it and project it further to be heard by all. Another thing is that extension activities must be well planned and sequenced to achieve the desirable change in social and economic well-being of the learner. That's very important. Later on in this particular course, you will still meet what we call program planning. What is planning? What is program? And why is program needed? So, and then that will push us to training. So all these things are sequential and they need to be planned ahead of time. All right. Now, extension programs are dictated by the needs of the learner and client. That is very important. Now, I could remember when I was in school, I was given an illustration about a particular community in which they are asking, they are requesting for a particular need, which was, I think, electricity. Now, during that period, there was transition in government, and the person that came up decided to bring in water, believing that it is water, a good source of water, because they do go far to streams to fetch water, that this is what they needed. But looking at me, when this thing was erected, was perfectly done, was commissioned, they were just looking at, is this what we need? Could you believe they didn't even go further to welcome that such a development. They didn't, and that program was not even sustained because it was not properly maintained. They believe that, why? You are just telling us to do this. This is what we needed. We have asked you. We have projected our needs to you. This is what is pressing to us, but you just came up with this. And after that is done, they were not even remembered. Okay. So such thing will not be, it will not be properly taken care of, and it could not be sustained. But when you work in line with their needs, believe me, it will work well, and the sustainability will be maintained. All right. Then extension program must be conducted in a learner's environment, okay, in a conducive environment, or in a good environment, okay, so that everybody will be benefited. All right. Okay, then extension education is more concerned with learning, and as such, a variety of teaching methods that would enhance learning, and also the use of instructional aids or material. So all these things we aid in learning. Okay, then our learners' participation in extension educational practice should be voluntary. Okay, it should be voluntary and not compulsory, not that you force them to do it. So I believe you have understood what philosophy of extension is, and also what philosophy is per se. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is the objectives of agricultural extension. If you have any question and you believe you could forget, please, you can jot them down or send it via the chat box. Okay. Now, what's objective of agricultural extension? We have various objectives when it comes to agricultural extension. Okay, but it's highly essential that extension program should have a clearly defined objective. You must be able to state them clearly. So if you don't know that this week, okay, maybe your visitation is fortnightly or weekly or monthly or quarterly, each of this time of visitation, there should be an aligned activity to be done. Okay, so if you have stated them clearly, you'll be able to carry them out one after the other, a step at a time. Okay, no, now it won't be that you will take the last thing to be the first thing. So because you have stated everything you need to do, then you walk in line with the objectives. If there could be any diversification, or maybe you need to change a particular thing, you will come back to your objective to see if it is involved. And if it is not involved, you include it in your objectives. So there should be a stated objective, okay? So an objective may be defined as an end towards which efforts are directed or conditioned to be achieved, all right? So is an end towards effort being directed and some condition that are stated to be attained. Extension objective is a statement of purpose for which an extension activity or services is established, change in clientele's behavior being the utmost desire, okay, or utmost end. All right. Now let's move on to the levels of objectives. We have 4 levels of objectives, while the first one is the overall societal objective. The second one is the program objective. while the third one is extension worker objectives, and lastly, we have the people's objectives. Now, what do I mean by the societal objective? This is the overall objective of every society, okay, for everyone to attain good life within the provision of cultural value, the social norms of the people. So it's a cooperative objective in which every individual must achieve a good life, and there should be provision of cultural values and social norms. So it's a collective within a community, all right? Now, the generalized objective is also indicated through attainment of growth and in the economy, high standard of living, level of development, and an egalitarian society, a developed society, a socialized society, a enlightened elites, making good elites within the society. All right. So the societal objectives are determined at the national level and are reflection of national development plans. So this is designed at the national level. So it depends on which exact society needs to be developed, needs to be improved, okay, needs to be well given much more innovation. So systemic and effective programs strives at ensuring that the objectives at lower level are directed towards achieving overall societal objectives. The next one is the program objective. So at this level, we have more specific social objectives, which are stated in program documents or development agencies, including agricultural extension offices. Okay. Now, this kind of program objectives are objectives at level of maybe a targeted community, a targeted group of people. Okay. So it is not a general community, it's a targeted set of people which will be involved in such objectives. So it is illustrated by extension agencies' objectives, which are stated to assist farm people in making wise use of the natural resources at their disposal and to make farming more productive through the use of improved farm practices. Okay, are we together? Hello, are we together? Unmute yourself and respond in a GV.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
Okay, let's continue. The next one is the extension worker objective. This one is an objective that is reflected towards changing the extension agents, okay, and is intended to accomplish at a specified time frame. So it's a reflex to specific change. We want to improve a particular extension agent. We want to ensure that he is living well. We want to ensure that the mode of performance is improved upon. So look at this particular level. Then lastly, we have the people's objectives. This one is done at the level that individual represents what the people desire to accomplish. So the extension agency has the responsibility of harmonizing the extension workers' objectives with the people's objectives. Okay, and if program will be effective and sustained, this has to be done. However, it is technical issue that takes professional competence on the part of the extension personnel to handle as unfelt needs of the farmer. They have to be uncovered before an agreement is struck on, and what ought to be done by the agents and the people. Okay, so even if they want to take over what is unfelt, believing that they need it, there should be agreements between the people and the agency. Okay, now let's move on to the next thing. Extension should never impose their will or government policy on people, okay, but rather than why a change is desirous and assist them to get it through. They should let them know why they need this. They should let them understand the necessity of having a particular innovation, of bringing about a particular change to them. Okay, so the agent should be friendly enough, should be counselors to them. They should be facilitators of stakeholders forum, wherein they should deliberate on one, better living standard. Okay, the second one is to how to obtain clear insights into their problem and also to decide on how to overcome such problem. They should not bring in programs as imposition on the people. So according to Albert et al. In the year 1989, said that because change in the environment and living conditions are accelerating, knowledge and information which involves need for their livelihood are also doing what? They are expanding. Okay, so more and more people need reliable extension services or advice to solve their problem. Okay, they cannot only stand on their own way of doing things again, but there is necessity for them to seek knowledge, okay, for development. Now, let's move on. In USA now, okay, it should be noted that women and youth were not given due attention in mainstream extension in the earlier days, which is very right, okay? They were not given attention. But in extension work in many developing nations also, this is being affected. But such a special program, which is Women in Agriculture, Children in Agriculture program, which are currently helping to promote the activities of women and children in extension. So that's why they came up with Women in Agriculture, Children in Agriculture. All these are to help get involved all these people, okay? Now, the women and the children. Now, in USA, youth development programs such as Future Farmers and 4-H Club have played significant role in entrenching young into their future role as responsible citizens. So in Nigeria, before the exploiting of the oil at economic scale, young farmers clubs thrive, especially in rural community, as a way of harnessing the energies of young ones towards productive ends and preparing them for useful future roles. You can see all these things were done in order to encourage women and children in agriculture so that they will not be on the disadvantaged part of agriculture and also to carry them along in the development that is going on. So extension objectives are normally stated at broad and specific level. So when objectives are stated in broad terms, they should be broken down to specific and measurable terms that will serve as indicators of broad objectives being accomplished. So other type of objective classification also involve the individual or family or group objectives, individual, family, or group objectives. And also we have the long-term and the short-term objectives. So extension objectives must be educational, stated earlier, and they must bring about the change in behavior, the skill, knowledge, and attitude of the farmer. Now, let's move on to the next thing, which is the last learning outcome, and that is the principles of agricultural extension. Okay. Hello, everyone. I believe we are together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the principle of agricultural extension. So agricultural extension is not an exact science, okay? But because our activities are based on dealing with human beings, we deal with human beings. We don't go to the lab to mix chemicals, to have indicators that will give us the end results. Don't do that. Neither do we experiment by slaughtering or checking the blood level, the carcass, the stage, and organoleptic, and blah, 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 to know the taste of a particular animal that has been fed with a particular feed. No, we don't do that. Okay. So we cannot say it's actual science, but it's acts of science. It's a social science. Okay. So extension worker should adhere to certain procedures that experience and empirical studies have shown to likely yield results. So these are principles underlying effective extension work, and they serve as pointer to whether the development effort is an extension program or not. So people and conditions may vary widely. And of course, there are many extension workers or approaches. Some principles has been established that are applicable to extension conditions. Okay, so vital ones among the principles are listed as follows. So the first one is that extension work must be directed towards satisfying the needs and interests of the people that was mentioned earlier. So when you want to do any extension activity, you don't bring in your own idea. You bring in idea that will benefit the people, okay? And will serve, we interest the people. That means to make it much more participatory, cooperative, okay? All these things must be done. Make sure that it interests in towards satisfying the interests and pet needs of the next one is that extension activity should start from the level of clientele. Clientele means your respondents, the farmers, those you are focusing on. So, to the level of the clientele's understanding. They should be based on conditions that exist rather than on preconceived package from research stations. Okay, so extension, the third one is that extension work must be carried out gradually, which means that extension must be satisfied with steady progress and avoid attempting to do too much and too fast. That is why you need to have a stated objectives. You have the broad objectives and you also have the specific objectives. Okay. The next one is that people must take part in every stage of extension work. Make it a cooperative activity that is being handled by every individual in that particular state or community that are involved in the program, if possible. Okay, it's because it should be a democratic process, not autocratic, where you will serve as a leader, giving instruction, will be sitting down, commanding, teaching, without even having a clue of what exactly has been done so far by giving it out for member of the community, member that have been trained, or member in which the innovation are given to. Okay, and then aimed at helping people to help themselves. It must neither be forced nor discriminate people. It must not force the people, neither showing a kind of having discriminative attitude towards the people. You ensure that being well participated and sustainable. Okay. Then extension workers should work with local leaders to help multiply their efforts and take advantage of the local leader as legitimizers of technology being extended. Okay. Now, under the innovation adoption process, I think later you have it. There are people that takes innovation so fast. They call them the early majority. This kind of people, they are mostly the local leaders. So if you want to work as an extension agent, you must first contact the local leaders. So they will serve as a point of contact to others. Okay, I think I said it earlier. You meet with the leaders of the community to share the information and to help you to disseminate the information with others. Okay, now extension innovation must be tested locally and found technical sound, financial capability, or make it much more profitable and social desirable. And also continuous evaluation of the progress and revision of the related procedure, contribute to the success of an extension program, and also provide the basis for judgment in adapting methods. So maybe later, when you want to conduct such a program, you know where you need to improve on, and you know where you need to develop on. Okay. Now, extension personnel requires basic and in-service training, both on subject matters and on extension method. Very, very important. There should be a continuous training for extension personnel. There should be, in order to meet up with standards. And as you know, the world is not stagnant, as it is progressing. We must be able to wind up with it and make up with such difference or changes that is going on in the general community. Now, extension workers should make use of social group, organization, and cooperation with agro support service agencies that are part of their cultural knowledge and innovation information system. I could remember during the course of the agricultural transformational program, ATA. Now, during that program, fertilizers and inputs were given to farmers. Some stations were located in each local community, maybe villages, towns, where these material or inputs were redeemed. So there was a hand-in-hand work with some agro stations or agro dealers so that such inputs will be redeemed at a exact cost that has been stated by the government. So such should be done in order to make sure that extension activity are well done and given to the right set of people, which are the end users. So effective extension program should use a wide variety of methods, since experience has shown that more varied methods should be used in teaching, in practicing, and in showing to learners to make it much faster to make those learners understand it faster, okay, and to make sure that such innovation is acceptable and continuously used. Now, the critical use of principles of extension centers on how change agents will apply them and implementing extension program the right sense. So it will be exciting to find the congruence between the principles, their applications, and the level of success that is attained on selected extension program. So it will be professional for an extensionist to review any development intervention reports from the viewpoint of the extent to which extension principle has been applied along with the resultant. All right. So I think we have come to the end of our talk and this session. So if you have any question, please ask. Before I ask mine, unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself. I want you to unmute yourself. I don't want noise. If you're in a noisy environment, maybe in a market square, I don't want to hear your voice. Just mute yourself and ask your question via the chat box. So if you have any question, please unmute yourself. I'm waiting. Hello? Nobody's asking questions. Hello? Hello, everyone. Unmute yourself. That means all of you are not in the class. I will just record 0 for all your attendance. That's what
we are in class. Oh,
we are in class.
You're not in class. You're not in class because I can't hear your voice.
We are in the class.
We are in the class.
We are in the class.
Hello, ma. Hello, ma.
I'm listening, okay? I'm with you. You have any question?
No, ma.
No question, ma.
That means you are telling me that everything that we have discussed is clear.
Exactly,
Yes,
ma.
Okay. All right. My question. I want to ask my question. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay. What do you understand by philosophy in extension? I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Understanding of ideas which individual extension workers hold about in the rural people for development.
You're just reading from your book, Abi.
No, I'm not reading from a book.
Good. All right. Thank you very much. You can mute yourself. Now, can someone hello? I like the overall, the level of objectives that we have. The level of objectives that we have. I'm listening.
I have 4.
Okay, mention them.
Overall societal objective,
Overall program activity.
program objective, extension workers objective, and
Oh, all is well.
People objective.
People's objective.
Objective,
right.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, Aye Lagbe Abbas, you're asking questions. You are raising your hands. Can I have you? Unmute yourself and ask a question. Unmute yourself, please. Ask a question. Abbas, I think he just decided to raise. He raised his hands without even having anything to say, and he's not even with us in the class. He's far away. He's in the market. No problem. I think we are done for today. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
The quiz to this study session will be given under study session 3. So when we are done with study session 3, I will upload your quiz to the LMS. I believe you have all done your quizzes. Someone is asking me, Tony Musa, you said that you were unable to access the quiz last week. What happened?
Yes, ma. Same here too, ma.
Because it's taking me back to the course. So
taking you back to have you registered for the course?
Yes, I've registered for the course.
Go and check it again. Check it again. Maybe you are unable to register. All right.
Okay, ma.
Check it again. Yes. That means you have not registered. That is why it is returning you back to the course. And I will actually
register on my courses.
Okay, I will check. I will check. Maybe the time duration for the quiz is over. So I will reopen
it. No, it's not over.
It's not over.
Okay.
Then there is a problem.
That
should be from your own end.
Help us to check.
I will check, but that should be from your own end. Okay.
Yes, ma. Please help us to check and reload all the quiz, ma.
I can't reload. Just go and access it online. If you have done it once or twice, I think I gave it 2.
Twice, yeah.
So you can do it twice, and if that is done, it's over. So thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ayelagbe, you are saying you are not in the market. So where are you? You raised your hand without even talking. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma.
We'll see you again on Friday. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, ma.